Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to welcome you all to India Employee Forum Samvaad series. And today we're going to dwell on a critical subject, talent acquisition and management. And it's a pleasure to have Mr. Avinash Mahapatra, lead talent acquisition and HRBP at Modenik Lifestyle. Pleasure to have you, Avinash, and thank you so much for accepting this invite.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Before we dwell deep into this particular subject, Avinash, little background about you and your experience in this particular space.
Okay. So, hi, good morning, everyone, once again. So, I'm Avinash, and so basically, I have done my MBA in HR from XIMB, which is a premier B school in India. And post that, I have been working in HR domain for last 5 years. So, this is my second stint. I was working initially in a fintech company. It was Subk Impact. Post that, for last 3 years I have moved into the retail space, that is into the lifestyle segment. So I'm working currently with Modenik, as you rightly said, as lead TA and HRBP. So that's about me, and looking forward to today's session.
Sure. Thanks, Avinash. Avinash, let me start with, congratulating you on Value Champion Award, which you have won. Many congratulations on that. Just want to understand, how this whole value addition in today's world mean when organizations are literally grappling with AI, automation, and workforce expectation. How do you think this whole value get really delivered at the workplace? What is your insight about this?
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for congratulating me. So value for me, if you ask me what does value mean, so to me, value is something which helped me in making a positive impact and contributing to the growth of the company and helping the company in achieving its mission, vision, and goals. So that is something which value means to me in terms of what I mean by value. Talking about my experience, the award which I got. So in Modernic, we have four values which each and every employee is expected to follow. That is, we collaborate, we make it happen, we challenge boundaries, and we do what is right. So these are the four values on which every employee is expected to behave in a particular way, and they are also evaluated as a part of performance management. So last year, for the last financial year, I was nominated, and then I received this award for the particular value. We make it happen. So I received this award. We make it happen because of my contributions, specifically in the TA field. So when I had joined Modenik, the TA team was very new. So there was nothing, no processes were streamlined as such. So when I joined, I started by onboarding new consultants, that is talent partners. Then I started by we created a new program where I initiated that program, that is a talent search partner meet. Basically, we invited talent partners from across the country with whom we tied up, and then told them about Modernic. We informed them that what is Modernic, what do we do, and so that it helps them, because they are the people who stay in touch with our potential candidates who are going to join us. So I did that. Then I initiated the management training program for Modernic. There was no such Modernic like management training program before that. So I stayed in touch with kind of colleges. I tried reaching out to colleges, the top colleges, based on the budget and different specific requirements, and started the program. Then I developed a sales dashboard, HR, basically an HR dashboard pertaining to all employees, where on a real time you can see like people related data, because that is something which is very important in today's world, data driven, because most of us take data driven decisions. So due to all of these contributions, I was recommended for this award, and fortunately I got the award. And now, how do I feel that I get this value and how it gets implemented in an organization? Like I hired the management trainees. I initiated that program, and then I, along with my senior leaders, we went to colleges. We hired freshers and experienced candidates from different B schools across the country. And now, when I see them 2 years down the line, now the program has been 3 years old because I started it way back 2 years back. So those people, those candidates whom we hired, they are handling critical roles within the company. So
Mm,
one student whom we hired from Soil Institute, she is handling a brand manager role. There is another candidate whom we hired in HRC is handling the comp and ben and is leading the performance management cycle. So that is where I feel that I added value to the company in terms of, because these are the people whom we hired, and these people are contributing across the functions in their own domain, and that is where value is getting, yeah, and ultimately it is helping the company because they are helping, brand manager is helping marketing in a big way. Then there is a comp and ben. We have also hired management trainees across sales
mm,
functions, so they are helping in driving sales in the front end in the market. And as I also told about sales dashboard and all, I prepared and I initiated a dashboard for you. So now we have a monthly update, which monthly report, which goes to the management regarding all the HR updates. And also that was initiated way back 2 years back. So now we have real-time data. We have a proper template in place, which can be shared with the management, and management has all the data on their, every month they can go through the data in a proper, in a very streamlined way. So I think all these initiatives by me during my initial days have helped the company, and that is how it has, I have created a positive impact, and it has also helped the company in achieving its goals or moving towards its mission and vision.
Thank you so much, Avinash. No wonder why you are an asset to the organization. Because of your contribution really speaks a lot, because that's exactly what is required for an organization. Hiring the right set of people in the different function and just motivating them to ensure that they deliver the results for which they are hired for. I think that's a brilliant answer. Moving on, Avinash, infant nutrition is the most common topic, and organization like yours who want to rapidly scale and have an agility in their entire process, how do you really identify the early signs of attrition, and what measures have you been able to take to curb this internally?
Okay, so yeah, as you rightly pointed out, infant attrition is a pain point for most of the organizations nowadays, and specifically in for a sales organization like us, infant attrition is always high. So to pinpoint that, I would like to initially uh, tell the factors. What are the key reasons why an infant attrition takes place? So, an infant attrition, what I feel takes place is because of 3 to 4 critical reasons. So, one is during the time of hiring, when there is an expectation mismatch between the role offered and what the candidate is offering. Sometimes what happens when a recruiter uh, when a JD is published for a particular role, the candidate just goes through it, and then the nitty gritties of the job are not explained to the candidate, or the expectations are not set properly. That in this role you are supposed to do these things. It's just an overview of the things which you are going to do, but at a deeper level they don't know when they join an organization what are the things they are expected to do. So when that mismatch happens, then the candidate, once he joins, he might have expected something, but when he joins it's something different. Then it he he or she gets disengaged and then he leaves. So that's one of the major things for infant attrition. Second is salary. Sometimes what happens majorly in major companies, uh, what normally the hiring managers and all they look for is they look for experienced candidates, right? We look for candidates who will best fit in into the role. And then there are also budget constraints, and that there are other things which they need to take care of. So sometimes there are some candidates who have left job or who are currently not working, might be due to it might be due to health reasons, or they are being laid off. There might be multiple reasons they are not working, so they are available in the market to join immediately. But
Hmm.
what happens is that and since they are in dire need of a job, because they are an immediate joiner, so they don't have that negotiation power at that point of time. So
Hmm.
they are ready to come at a pay cut as well. If they are higher, if they are at a CTC of 30 lakhs, if you offer them 25, they will be willing to come back because they don't have a job. So something is better than nothing. That's what the candidates prefer. But what happens is that organizations hire them. But what happens when they come in, then might be for a few days they'll be working. They are an asset for the organization because a company got them at a lesser pay as per their actual what should be paid to them, and they are an asset because they have a good experience. But then what happens after gaining a certain point of experience, if they get a better job, then obviously they will look to move to that point where they left when they were at a better role. So that is something which is very important, that also needs to be taken care of. Then cultural mismatch also, so that needs to be checked because now with changing workforce dynamics and with work from home and hybrid culture, work from office, and so these all things needs to be checked during the point of interview because later
Hmm.
on this creates issues when employee joins. Some people are not comfortable working from office for 5 days. So if you don't communicate them during the interview, then
Hmm.
post coming they might not be comfortable. Some people are only I come across such situations, like some people are only comfortable handling a team. They are not comfortable doing jobs as an individual contributor. So when
Hmm.
something they have that key, they delegate and they will just supervise. So when they join us, and if you ask them to do certain things from the scratch, then they won't be that willing to do. They will expect everything to be delegated to someone under them, then it gets done. So that is where the mismatch happens. And fourth is like induction and training or onboarding. That is very important. So in many companies, when somebody joins, companies rush them into the job because the what happens, the role is vacant for some time, and there is a lot of work pending, and immediately the person is put into the job. So the employee does not get a chance to understand what the company is like, what the company is doing, what are the business, what are the different ways through which company is earning his business, and what are the different challenges in his role. So there is also no proper handover sometime from the previous incumbent to the new joiner. So all this then leaves the employee in a dark when when a new employee joins. So he's very unsure of where I joined and all. So these are the key critical factors. To address this, I'll be short. Like initial one is during hiring and recruitment, be very careful. As in, you should be transparent and properly communicate. As in, what is what is the exact expectations out of the job? What is whether it is an individual contributor role or a team handling role. So everything should be in black and white. There should not be something which the candidate knows later on when he joins. Then, in terms of salary, you should provide them the right. Every company does benchmarking, salary benchmarking with competitors. So you should pay them as per industry standards. It's not something that if somebody is getting, we are getting at a less pay, we bring them and then it leads to an infant attrition. So discuss
Hmm.
with the employee with his look for his aspirations and provide him salary. Have a proper onboarding and an induction program at the time of joining, so that give them a list of like spocks to connect, so that they are not when they
When
join
they're job.
when they,
Right.
so these are the key things in order to address infant attrition. Yeah.
Very nice, Avinash. Thank you so much. Avinash, tell me, do you see a change in this reactive measure of exit interview to a proactive measure of engaging people and tracking the entire engagement pattern with them? In your experience, what have you been able to implement something like this to just to ensure that, there is no reactive measures, but proactive measures are taken?
Yeah, so this is something. So earlier, obviously, everybody used to do reactive, that is, post an employee exit. People like HR calls to the employee to know, and then they get to know that these were issues which were already there when the employee was working. So something
Yeah.
like stay interviews have come up. So we have not done at Modenik predominantly for all, but for few employees we do that for specifically for employees whom we feel are very critical or who are top performers and whom we
Hmm.
want to retain, who are an asset for the organization. So, so something like a stay interview or something, having a career discussion with them. Stay interview is something, when an employee is existing within the system. So
Okay.
taking an interview with them, trying to understand like what will help them stay in the company for a longer period of time. So
Okay.
that helps the employer in knowing like what are the things that they can bring changes into, in order to in order to control attrition and in order to retain the employees within the organization. So this proactive approach is really good. And nowadays with AI and all, with predictive analytics coming in, so there are different parameters which the data team puts into place. So you can actually track like who are the people who are at a higher risk of leaving. So
Mm.
based on, there are different parameters which you can look at based on their stability, their performance, their salary. So there are different factors which are counted into while taking those into account. Yeah.
Okay. And the ones who are really good at top talents, how do you engage them to stay in the organization for a longer time?
So basically, one is obviously there is recognition, rewards and recognitions,
Yeah.
which is there. We have a yearly recognition where they are recognized. We have also monthly awards where they get recognized through different meetings and different platforms. That is there. Second is promotions and career development. So we show them a career path, that suppose you are a sales officer today, so you have an opportunity. If you do well, you have an opportunity coming up to become an ASM, then an RSM. So to grow within the organization, you have a lot of scope. So that is something which motivates them to stay. Giving them opportunity for training and development. So like giving them chances to attend different conferences, webinars, and so that
Mm.
they also get to learn, so they also feel that they're learning within the company, because learning is a part of your career development. So that is also one thing which helps them in retaining. So salary is one part. Obviously salary is one of the hygiene factors which everybody looks at, but apart from salary, these are some of the other things, like skill development, like career path, so which helps them, which shows them a path that they are a value for the company and an asset for the organization.
Right. Just I have a follow-up question on the same point. Learning and development has been the biggest part of every organization, just to ensure the right people are trained at the right time. In your experience, what have you implemented to see to it that the continuous learning has got prominence?
Okay, so continuous learning is very important for any role, any company. That's a very critical role. It's a very critical requirement for any company. So, in terms of learning and development, I think for our employees, like at Modenik, for our salespeople, we have we have a training team. So, whenever somebody joins, we give them a detailed product related trainings.
Okay.
That is very important, like because they will have to sell the product. So product related trainings, understanding the nitty gritties of the product, so that they can sell in a better way. So that is there. Apart from technical, like this product specific training, there are other trainings that are also being given, like training related to grooming, because they need to be well groomed. Negotiation, how to negotiate with an employee, how to behave with an employee, like customer service skills. So these are some of the other prominent skills which they are being trained upon in order to cater to. Then, so there are also, we have a platform that is an LMS, Disburse, where they can, we have enrolled them into courses and they can go through the courses and give a quiz to assess the learning that is there. And then so now, at if you ask me, at Modernic, it's about Disperse, that is the online platform, and then we have classroom trainings, and classroom trainings, as well as there are some. It's a blending, like blend learning kind of, that is there.
Got it. Fair enough. Just moving on, Avinash, today, the HR objective and the business strategy are totally work together, right? Especially in industry like yours, where the business models are disrupted very often. How do you embed the entire HR objective with the strategic planning?
Okay. So this is something. So initially, every year we have a goal setting workshop which takes place for the all the leadership team members. So initially, once the goal is set for the company, from there the it percolates to the different functional heads for their specific function. So as you're asking for the HR strategy with the organization strategy. So
Yes.
initially once the organization strategy is set, what are the key focus for the organization for the upcoming year, whether it is in terms of revenue, in terms of growth for a particular category, in terms of auditing, and also there are different parameters which a company has to achieve in order to achieve its goals, right? So now from there the key KPIs are identified for an HR function, like from the key organization objectives we find like what are the key things that HR needs to do in order to ensure that organization achieve its goals. And
Yeah.
for example, like to give an perspective of how this alignment works, suppose there is I'll give an example, one, two examples to make it more simpler. Suppose the organization goal is to ensure that our EBITDA increases. EBITDA is the profit margin increases,
Right.
and also ensure that there is compliance across 100% compliance. There is no such deviation in it. So as an HR, so this is organization strategy. Now we'll have to align what HR needs to do to achieve this organization goals. So from HR per se, we ensure that as a part of compliance, we have a lot of EBO stores, we have a lot of salespeople working on the ground. So we ensure that there is no such deviation in terms of compliance or audit. We ensure that all the statutory rules are followed, all the statutory compliances and reports are submitted on time, and there is no deviation. In order to ensure that the EBITDA increases, we ensure that the cost and the budget are within limit, like the hiring cost, the other expenses like recruitment expenses, training expenses. So all are within limits and it is not over exceeding, so that it helps us in increasing the revenue of the company. Then another
Mm.
example, like suppose the company goal is to increase the revenue for a particular brand by so much percent or by so much of revenue. In that case, HR strategy is like to how can we hire the right people so that it helps the business in um, getting to that revenue, getting to the growth. So right people at the right time, TAT. So basically turnaround time for hiring, whether the training are proper, what is the training scores, and how are the people responsive to the training and all. So through this, there is an alignment between the business strategy to that of the HR strategy. So for this, the goal setting workshop, as I told, takes place at the start of the year, where when the company's goals are set, then each of the functional leaders they sit with the CEO or the MD and decide on what are the things that they need to do as a functional head to drive the business. And then it obviously percolates to the uh, function. Then function once for a HR, chief human resource officer, the goals are met. It goes to her reportees, and then it percolates down to the bottom layer. So this goal setting
Fantastic.
workshop takes place. I don't know about other companies. In our company, it takes place, and all the initially it happens with all leadership team members. Post that it happens with the next level, like reportees of C2. We call them C2, the reportees of the direct leadership team. And then we have workshops with the individual team members, so that the team members at the bottom also they also get to know how they are contributing to the company's business, because sometimes there is a gap there and they don't know how they are contributing to the company's business.
Right. I think that was a very comprehensive answer, Avinash, and thanks for sharing the same. Avinash, tell me something like with AI and a lot of other tools being part of your HR function, how do you envision shaping up the entire talent acquisition, and how do you feel an organization should prepare themselves for the talent shortages in the next 3 to 5 years?
Okay, so as in terms of AI, yeah, AI is taking up the TA industry right now. So gradually, it's coming into force. It's one of the upcoming trends. In terms of AI, like chatbots are in place right now. So gradually, with now many of the companies are it's in a very nascent state, but it's going to grow in the upcoming days. So
Yes.
chatbots are going to help in screening the resumes and identifying the right fit candidates. That is there in terms of AI intervention. Then we have this virtual reality and augmented reality. So basically different assessments where the employers, they want to give a real time experience to the employees, to the new joiners. So those type of training programs, those type of hiring techniques and all are also going into play. Video interviews are already in place now. Many of the companies use this tools, as you also must be knowing HireView and all,
Yeah.
where
Yes.
you give a video interview and the AI only can judge like what is your body language when you are speaking, how fluent is your English. So all these things can be identified by AI. So it makes the recruiter work more easier, and they can focus on more strategic things instead of focusing on day-to-day admin related works. And in terms of, as you asked regarding skill gap, so there is a lot of skill gap which basically incurs because of this technological advancement in the recent years, because many companies are undergoing digital transformations. There is a workforce dynamics change as well, like new workforce, gig workforce is getting into play, and we also are focusing on diversity hiring, and also there is obviously a skill gap which is going to come into play. To address the skill gap, I think what some of the companies do and what they need to do is like have refresher training programs. So that is upskilling and reskilling program. So upskilling can be for a new program, that's something which is very new, like something, if AI is getting implemented, then they can give an upskilling program because many of the people are unaware. Reskilling is
Yeah.
when it's a new way of working, something is getting changed, and it's something, a new way of working is coming into play, then it's a reskilling program. So we do this refresher trainings when at Modenik also we do, when there is a change in the ways of working, when we implement a new way of working, then we do those trainings to the employees so that they also get to know how this works. Then
Mhm.
tie up with educational institution, that's one of the ways. Like we tied up with soil, with NIFT, because being an apparel industry, NIFT plays a very important role. So we hired many of
Yes.
the employees from NIFT. So many of our leaders, they are not aware of, they were not having any idea on apparel because they have never worked in apparel industry. They are from FMCG and from other background. So we registered them into a NIFT program where on apparel management, and also they get to know about ha- the nitty-gritties of apparel and all. Then we tied up with Soil, that is for a Soil is an MBA college for the leadership, like sales leadership development. So these are some of the things which companies needs to do in order to address skill gaps. Then there is reverse mentoring as well. I hope you know reverse mentoring. So with the new generation people coming, so there's Gen Z and Gen Z. These people are very well versed with technology and everything.
Very, yeah.
They are very well versed, and the baby boomers or the millennials, they are not that well versed with technology. They are poor in that. So this reverse mentoring concept helps that both of them teaches each other. The new generation teaches the older generation about this new advancement, and obviously the older generation has more experience, so they mentor them on other aspects of leadership and how to manage people and all. So, and then cross functional training is also very important. Sometimes people in different function, they don't know what the other function people are doing.
Yeah.
So then there is a lot of disconnect. When the people know that
Correct.
something in the other function works like this, then they will also know why something is getting deleted, getting delayed, or because the interlinkage is there between different function. So
Right, right.
the things that needs to be done. Yeah.
Yeah. So just another question. Now that you touched upon the gig also, I mean, gig and off-road is so much a part of every organization today. What in your industry particularly, what percentage do you see that from what to what percentage it might grow, both off-roll and gig?
Yeah. So in terms of gig, we have not tried much, but there are people who like we hire on a temporary basis for different projects, specific projects. We sometimes call them interns as well. Like
Mhm.
they come for a 2 3 months contractual and then they leave. So this is based on specific project requirements on
Mhm.
today. But in terms of off-role, we have off-role people who are working on third party. So that is obviously there. That will be there currently because managing everything at such a mass pool is difficult
Right.
for an HR. We need
Do you
such
see an
man.
increase in that direction of off-role
Yeah,
people?
there might be an increase in off-role direction, but in terms of contractual, it again depends on gig. It depends on the type of nature of work and the nature of project which comes in.
Sure. So, I mean, I think we are trying to, understand from your. I think I'm more interested today to about how Modenik functions. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Well, I have so many questions in mind, but still, I think most of the questions you have answered. I had listed some 8 questions, but you have been able to answer all of them in the span of 5 questions itself. Thank you so much, Avinash, for sharing your experience. In summary, what I can understand is that, value is beyond operational efficiency, and HR as a function can bring in that kind of environment where innovation is important, fostering the employee engagement becomes important, embedding the entire HR objective strategy becomes very critical, continuous learning becomes very important. Only when everybody come together is where that real success an organization can taste. Otherwise it is not. I think that's exactly this is the essence which I understand from your whole conversation, and you're very involved with what you're doing, and that's the reason, it's our pleasure to have you today and know more about Modernic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.